You know, I do not understand this world anymore. What is it that drove the Liver King to be exhibiting even more buffoonery than what he was before? And why does he even have a focus on Joe Rogan? You know, it bothers me that he gets attention for being such an idiot. But again, that's the world we live in. It's just a weird thing, man. Because even if you're just a everyday run-of-the-mill jamoke out here, you could really see this is unrealistic and pretty pointless, right? Other than, you know, people reacting to it. So the dude actually has been charged now. I've never dug the Liver King on any level. The only thing I've ever seen about him was what Derek did, talking about what his supplement use was, because Liver King emailed him a long time ago before he popped off all big because he couldn't get rid of back fat, and he was asking Derek for advice on it. While Derek was making a video on him, he ran into the old email just by chance and didn't even realize it. And the stuff he was on, man, was just out of this world. Not that I'm against it at all. Do what you want to do, but I am personally just tired of people doing anything they possibly can for recognition online. But that's just me, and I'm fortunate enough to not have an exclusive online existence, I guess. You tell me, is there anything cool about the Liver King and what he has done in the past, what he sells? Is his interviews interesting? Is this call out to Joe Rogan at all amusing or interesting? It just seems nonsensical. I can't believe he went as far to get himself charged with it. So Dana White announced that Diego Lopes versus Gene Silva is the main event for Noche 3 in San Antonio. You know, one thing that I would really enjoy out of the UFC was if there was some tent pole events, you know. As in WWE, they got like their big four. You know, the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. And then there's stuff sprinkled in between, right? We all know UFC International Fight Week. It's actually this week, everybody. But does it feel like an International Fight Week outside of who's fighting? The same thing with Noche. I really do wish that International Fight Week and Noche would be very important for the company and fan base. What I would like to see is the UFC use these big tentpole events to appease the fan base, to like work in direct connection with them, right? To build the cards, to build the promotion. I think that would be a very, very smart way to make these events feel bigger and unique relative to the rest of the program throughout the year. And I think there should be a couple of others too, probably Madison Square Garden in November, and then I would say like the first fight of the year. And then when there's like 100, make that special, which 400 we're a long way from. But we are, for the second time in a row with Noche, with the main event not including Mexicans. And some people will say, oh, big deal. Well, right, that's the thing. It doesn't offend me necessarily. It's just that why even bother calling it Noche to make this annual thing celebrating fighting spirit of Mexicans during Mexican Independence Day week, you know? Diego is an adopted Mexican, I understand that. That's not the same thing. As far as that goes, for me, it's the same as Marab and Sean O'Malley. Do you remember Noche 2? They both just claimed they were Mexican and wore sombreros and ate tacos, and all of a sudden, orale, you know? And the fan base, the general fan base, didn't care at all. Some people took, you know, umbrage with it, but that's not even the thing about it. The thing is that I would just like to see at least one Mexican in the main event. You know what I'm saying? Yair Rodriguez notwithstanding, unless it's against Diego Lopes, that would have been dope too. But there's also not any champions, and I think it's smart that Noche isn't a PLE, a pay-per-view. No UFC PLEs yet, but I believe they're coming. A fight night is just fine, but the theme should have like a Mexican in the main event. And I know for a fact that would be something appreciated across the board even. Otherwise, it could have been the theme for Noche 3 in San Antonio sounded cool when it was made official, but the idea of Diego Lopes and Gene Silva going at it, that makes for like a more fun themed San Antonio, Texas, you know, draw a partner. Fuck draw a partner, those types of things, like, you know, two cowboys ready to, what's the fucking shit called? What's that called? Duel. Lord, how did I forget that word? Ready to duel? That would have been a cool theme. Like the way the Noche poster looks and how they did it last year, imagine that being like an old western, you know, steampunk kind of thing. I'm not the biggest fan of steampunk, but what I'm getting at is like creativity in that could be so cool. But back to the Noche thing, this is not being the way it should be. The first Noche was unique and very well done. You had a Mexican in the main event, and I understand it's probably not easy, people injured and blah 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 whatnot, but hopefully the rest of the card is ultra stacked. But I just hopefully Noche, maybe we get a Mexican in that main event slot for Noche 4.
Up righteous, right winged violence, violin like strung out white Vicodin, vitamin enlightening, ride bright lightning, diamond kite.
Cheyenne Vlismus announces retirement from MMA. Why are they saying UFC vet? Did she have a bunch of those fights? Double check that here. This woman had 4 fights, rendering out a 50-50 career in the UFC. And why are we calling her a vet? She made her debut 2021? Vet? She's a vet? 1 fight on Dana White Contender Center. 1 fight on DWCS. The glazing is a little ridiculous. I wouldn't call her a vet at all. And also, not to be mean, but who cares?
Yeah, I never asked your name.
I'm Shadowcat.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me. It caught me off guard, the whole Shadowcat thing. What's the real name?
That's my name, is Shadowcat.
Oh, okay. I see.
Watch, ask that law right there what my name is.
Yeah, I know. I believe it's Shadowcat. It's just a little silly.
Victor Shadowcat Cross.
Mm-hmm.
That's his name.
So how'd you know you were just gonna be a Shadowcat?
It's my spirit animal for my tribe.
Holy shit, are we serious? So I'm gonna call you Victor. I'm not calling you Shadowcat, man. I mean, that's too far. That's too ridiculous.
Yeah, so is your jacket and your shirt combo.
Hold on, Shadowcat.
Oh, dude, respect,
Shadowcat,
dude,
don't
you
take
can
it
go
past
fuck
that
yourself.
level.
Hey, alright. Hey.
You got a problem or something?
I mean, you insulted me, then you rode off, and then you came right back.
Yeah, I'm in it. You can go fuck yourself.
Alright.
Shadowcat, let's not be ridiculous. I mean, you're telling me that's a regular name? Are we serious?
You're gonna disrespect my fucking tribal name, dude?
Shadowcat, hey!
Say something else.
Hey,
say something else about my
Cat.
name. Say something else about my name, motherfucker.
Hold on. Don't
Fucking
scratch
name.
me now. Don't scratch me now,
Bring it down.
Oh,
Shadowcat.
I'll
Bring it
scratch
down.
you. Wait the fuck
Bring
up
it
right
down.
now. I want this guy out of my fucking town.
UFC BJJ championship belts have been revealed. I like the design. I like that it is a little organized chaos and the triangles. I think there could be some cool enhancements. Once you win one tournament or one belt, and you win again, put a ruby red stripe on the black belt. That'd be pretty dope. Put some diamonds and making the word champion rose gold. The red background of the UFC BJJ, it could be toned down a little bit. It does give pretty high contrast, but yeah, they should add a little bit more pizzazz to it. Definitely the ruby red stripe if you are a consecutive tournament or champion winner.
I know you're not going to go pick up the pizza wearing that.
Yeah, make sure we get a great pizza.
You put anchovies on this thing and you're in big trouble, okay?
Michael Chandler is reportedly in talks with WWE to be a wrestler, and for me, no thank you. Objectively, I don't know if he would fail in mic work. He might be pretty good. He says his dream opponent is Rey Mysterio. I don't like that either. If he's gonna get in there and do something, it should be with Chad Gable. Absolutely 100% with Chad Gable. They have similar body types and similar backgrounds, but I also think that is the type of wrestler Michael Chandler would look best against. He is very athletic, but it's more than athleticism, and I know athleticism is connected to timing, but he's not gonna get that in time to make a match with Rey Mysterio look good anytime soon. Just my opinion. Maybe he can prove me wrong. We'll see him at the top.
Por eso me cogí a tu perra, puto gordo de mierda. Oeste, asesinos de Bad Boy. Tú sabes quiénes son los más reales. Te lo traemos. Está bien. Primero que se jodan tú y tu clase.
Rebella says WWE hasn't contacted her about returning. Quote, I didn't change my number. This is from Wrestling Observer. I don't believe it. I don't believe it because the direction it was going with Nikki and Liv. Obviously, that is on ice right now. What is most likely happening is the Bella twins are coming back for a July appearance against Roxanne and Raquel. I hope that is not the case, but that's what it feels like. And I also think that is a bit lazy from Creative. I wish Creative would really take the time to consider the women's tag team titles being of no use right now. It would benefit the women's division as a whole enormously. So if we're gonna have Roxanne here and do this, Creative should go the direction of Roxanne and Raquel losing the titles and Roxanne taking the heat about it from Liv to drive their story. That's how it should go. Now, other people have thrown out all kinds of crazy shit for the story. That simple. Just make them lose the belts. Liv blames Roxanne. When she returns, the Bella twins are gone working part-time with the tag team titles, appearing when there's a tag team they can wrestle because there's no tag teams. Or the Bellas never return again and they keep those belts.
I'm sorry, no, there is not any chance in hell that we're ever going to have wrestling in this house again. But thank you, but no. Have a good day. Hello?
Hi, can I speak to Champ?
Who?
Champ? Is Champ there?
Who is Champ?
That question will be answered this Sunday night!
Listen,
WWE soon!
Dana White said the UFC will be able to do twice as many DWCS, or Dana White's Contender Series. People are saying that is an awful idea, like this gentleman here, and the UFC will be watered down so much. Only if you're somebody who just can't stop watching the UFC, right? I think more Dana White's Contender Series could be beneficial if they are hunting for women's bantamweight and men's heavyweight, and then maybe even a little bit of light heavyweight too. That's what they should be looking for with the new media rights deal. But I see it as Netflix has a deal with them for the big pay-per-view events. They'll be called PLE, but you'll still have the option for pay-per-view. I say PLE because that's what WWE calls them. I mean, they may not call them that. But if you're not using Netflix, then you can still purchase it, whatever, through various other apps as well, like ESPN, maybe even Amazon, something like that. Meanwhile, ancillary stuff, perhaps UFC BJJ and Dana White's Contender Series, The Ultimate Fighter, even Dana looking for a fight, so on and so on, will be elsewhere because Netflix will only be interested in the main courses. You know what I mean? That doesn't solve everything and the complexities under all of this. I know that, because what it's going to do is let the UFC hit different platforms and be accessible in different ways to other customers. This is the philosophy of Nick Khan. I'm not here to tell you it's right or wrong or that's what you should be thinking about it in those terms. Do whatever you want. But Nick Khan does believe that more consumers should have access to the entertainment, right? Which is why there's deals with WWE on Tubi, for example. Things like that. Lower tiered accessibility, which higher tiered fighters may come out of Dana White's Contender Series, right? But if he's doing twice as many, maybe one is on ESPN and one's on Amazon, with the mega fights still pay-per-view and also on Netflix if you have Netflix. Something like that. Nothing's official, but something like that is how I imagine it would work. So you would be driving yourself crazy going platform to platform to platform to try to keep up with everything. If your job is media and reporting, you're gonna have to switch it up, right? Make a focus. I thought media was dead anyway, so what are you hanging on to? But as a fan, especially if you're one of these people that are hardcore fans that has to watch every fight all the time, or you watch because you want to gamble, well, you got more gambling opportunities. No part of it really frustrates me at this point. Guess we'll see what happens.
Straight up, dog. Why the fuck he keep looking? Why is he looking at me, dog? Why the fuck you keep looking at me? Stop staring at me.
Apparently, Erick Rowan had something to say about the Wyatts 6, and I quote, "I don't think a lot of these people have had clear chances to showcase what their strengths really are in the company," end quote. Yeah, I'm gonna have to say no shit. But I mean, you look at this image, you can see the problem. I mean, what are we doing in 2025 with this angle? It does not work. I tried to tell everybody, hoping someone would hear, but you know, this isn't gonna work or resonate with anyone except, you know, a few people. Not enough, like basically people online, the same people they ignore, the same people they don't want to write for. As Nick Khan said, he suggested to the writers to write for the universe and not for the online fan base, right? The ones that are terminally online. The ones that are yearning for this faction to be on screen right now and are happy with what's going on with them are the ones that should be ignored, no doubt about it. This looks, I hate to say it, man, it looks cringe. It doesn't look good. This is not anywhere near Bray Wyatt levels, and I understand they're not trying to reach Bray Wyatt, just maybe honor him. They should all do it in their own kind of way, or Bo Dallas needs to get out of Uncle Howdy, and I'm not gonna get off of that. It has to happen. He has to lead this cast in a different direction, or he has to go off on his own. This would be the year for him to get his greatest shine if he could get something in with Cena attached to the legend, the legacy of his brother, and also one of the greatest matches that ever happened on WrestleMania in Bray Wyatt and John Cena in the Firefly Funhouse during the pandemic. Nikki all curled up on his leg and like paint on, trying to be creepy. It's not hidden. It's not hidden. And what is the power that he has over them anyway? And why are they after titles? This should have taken a much darker, more serious tone. There was too much time off for them for whatever reason. None of that matters anymore. Now it's been changed up. Nikki's without the mask. They go into the ring. They got a couple of cool power moves, the tag team I mean. But Howdy's sitting in the chair is not making any kind of impact either. Bo Dallas needs to attack John Cena in one way or another. As a corporate rock servant, someone working with Seth Rollins, that would be great. What if Seth Rollins was the fourth man? Or I'm sorry, what if Bo Dallas was the fourth man? Unlikely, but would be shocking and effective. A corporate evil Bo Dallas works. You know, the group that Seth Rollins is working seems like it's underneath the Rock anyway. I wonder if that's gonna be revealed. Or Bo just has to attack him by himself. Do something like that, because this is not gonna go anywhere. By the time Survivor Series comes around, this whole idea of the Wyatt Six will be all but gone. A memory once again. And then they'll try to rebrand. I said in January, don't bring Alexa Bliss back to have any attachment to them. So far, so good, other than her walkout at Fanatics with that giant hardcore Fiend fan and the daughter as Lily or what have you, whatever it was. I said don't rebrand the Wyatts. They've had too much time off. Bo needs to do something else, show his face, and he could still lead them, but something, or go on his own like I just said. And here we are. Now it's not hitting. People are asking, why are they doing this? People are confused and people aren't scared or shocked anymore. This has got to evolve and progress, or it's going to dissolve and be forgotten.
Don't take a picture, alright?
I don't have a picture.
Alright, stop playing with me, alright? You wanna fight one-on-one?
We can.
Come on, let's go. Well, that's what I thought.
Someone asked this question, I do think it was a pretty good question. Why do UFC fans hate WWE and why do WWE fans hate UFC? First off, it's not all fans. I would be proof of that, and I know I'm a small percentage, but I do enjoy both, and I enjoy them with rationale. I don't put a lot of emotional investment into anything that I am a fan of these days because I just kind of don't trust anything, you know what I mean? But I grew up watching wrestling, I grew up watching martial arts movies, I was a mat wrestler, I trained capoeira, I trained jiu-jitsu, so I just love martial arts. I mean, that's just what it is. I don't do it for the gambling. I understand people watch it for the gambling, and those people, it makes a lot of sense why they wouldn't like the WWE, right? Because if you gamble on the WWE, that's kind of insane. Trying to bet, unless you're like just betting with your friends, and oh man, I got 20 on, you know, Goldberg or whatever, but it's all pre-written. But another thing is, a lot of UFC fans either just ape their favorite content creator, not even really knowing what they're talking about because they've never even watched it. They just know what they see online and what their people they live through vicariously think about it. There's also this sense that it's easy to pick on WWE fans, as if like there weren't savages in the WWE and savage WWE fans that would wreck shop in an octagon or against somebody else. CM Punk didn't help matters either. Nobody liked when CM Punk went over to the UFC and he got a main spot against Mickey Gall, and that got him a lot of backlash. Even though fighters were given a lot of love. I think that spilled over quite a bit into the hatred for the WWE. They don't want to see that again. Brock Lesnar was an exception to the rule, but I don't think they want another WWE person over there. The hardcores, like, there's people who don't like WWE but do like UFC, but are casual to both. They're not as invested in that way, the whole CM Punk saga, you know, because when he did fight Mickey Gall, he looked terrible. We all know the story. Went on to fight the cameraman. I think his name was Mike Jones or something. And that was the impression that left a very bad taste in people's mouth. They still talk about it to this day. It's still talked about, CM Punk's appearance in the UFC. Had CM Punk went in there and Anthony Pettis Matrix wall kicked Mickey Gall's head off and then flying triangle submitted Mike Jones, I do think it would be a different landscape. I'm not saying everyone would be hugging each other, but I don't think the backlash would be as fierce if Punk had went 2-0 instead of 0-2, winning impressively instead of losing not only expectedly but even below what expectations were. As far as the WWE fans hating the UFC, it's actually not as bad as the UFC fans hating the WWE. There's more WWE fans that like the UFC than there are UFC fans that like WWE. I've spoke on this before. WWE fans can be found in furry communities, in cosplay communities, anime communities, role-playing communities, like every type of community imagined, even fringe communities, right? That's not the MMA fan base. You're never gonna find someone that's a furry in the fucking stands of UFC 320. You know what I'm saying? So while the demographic is different, the businesses themselves and the owners and philosophies of the owners are quite similar. But the WWE fan base seems to be ignorant of that widely. A large swath of them. So when they see Dana White at WrestleMania 41, they know Dana White from what they see on TV because they don't watch the UFC, right? So they boo him. But what they don't realize is, yo, you're sitting in the venue where all these guys are Dana's friends. They're all on the same page. So that example I'm giving right now would be part ignorance on the WWE fan base's part. There's a lot of troubled, uneducated on both sides. There are people that just hate because they want to hate. WWE fans also hate on other pro wrestling promotions. That's another aspect of it. They will actively engage to defend to the death. Unfortunately, almost zero of them on either side, by the way, do it with any kind of intelligence when they go at each other. It's unfortunate there's not a deeper understanding between the two, if you ask me. Both companies are just forms of entertainment, and they don't even compete with each other. The active hatred for it doesn't even make sense. Like, you guys tell me, is there a community of basketball fans that go out of their way to hate on NFL fans and vice versa? That's what I mean. Like, it's really odd that anyone wants to even take the time out of their day to hate on either one of them if you don't watch it. You get what I'm saying? But if you take your stereotypical UFC fan or MMA fan and your stereotypical pro wrestling fan or WWE fan and put them in a room together for dinner, they are not gonna get along. They see things completely different, but it shouldn't bother you when Rhea Ripley is at a UFC event and they show her. Or Monday Night Raw comes on this Monday right here in Vegas, right where we're at on the UFC broadcast. No more than it should bother you there's a repeated commercial about some Jeep or something every time a round is over, or the kick logos, or the V-chains, if you don't watch it. There's no way that the UFC should be invading your life if you're a WWE exclusive fan and you don't watch it. So why go online to talk shit about it? It doesn't prove anything. It doesn't prove you have any personality or anything unique about you. It just means you know that's the cool thing to do in your world. But who cares? Just like, who cares? But as I've said, while this is all going on and people are groaning, complaining and whatnot, meanwhile events are continuing to be sold out and new fans are being cultivated. So 5 years, I guess we'll have to revisit this and see if the hate is just as stronger or non-existent. And think I'm gonna wrap here. Justin Gaethje revealed UFC came to his house begging him to fight Max Holloway at UFC 300. Now, I just want to re-emphasize, I'm not big on these whole, I got you, caught you in a lie, or I said this, I claim that. But when it's worth pointing out, I'm gonna go ahead and point out. I did a video on UFC 300 clearly pointing out everything that was not going to plan and what my theories were regarding the card building, the marketing, returns of certain fighters, Chael Sonnen losing his mind, like ending a video saying, oh, it's gonna be Musk versus Zuck. You guys remember all that? You remember all the insanity that went into the lead up to UFC 300? I'll be sure to link the video on the screen. That video got shut down in about 3 hours. It was going viral and I don't know what happened. Maybe people downvoted it. I don't know. But this is only further evidence that what I was saying the whole time was right. Going as far back as the November before UFC 300. You know what I'm saying? A long time ago. August, because Ronda and Shayna had that SummerSlam match. That's when I started talking about how things were coming together for UFC 300 and then how everything fell apart. But all good. It's interesting Gaethje is saying this now. I don't know if it's his way of trying to squeeze in for a title shot. Would he have to wait in line, or is it going to be Armin after whoever comes out of this weekend?
And fuck Bill Goldberg!
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.